The next morning dawns with a typically Las Vegas forecast of 108 degrees. Kai isn't scheduled to hit the gym again until early afternoon. That gives me some time to explore the area around the hotel. This is the other Las Vegas. Far from the glitz and glamour, it's the Vegas of dry floodways, abandoned shopping malls, and empty construction sites. It's the behind-the-scenes Vegas that few people who come here on vacation ever get to see. And it is the perfect place for a man from Brooklyn to separate himself from the rest of the world and concentrate on preparing for the biggest day of his life. And yet, I can't help but wonder, why come out so far in advance of the show? Why is it necessary to spend 7 long weeks here, doing nothing but eating, sleeping, working out, and meditating on bodybuilding? Do other Olympia athletes require this kind of all-or-nothing discipline? As always, my touchstone for any questions I may have about bodybuilding is my brother.
I'd rather push it too far than not far enough. If for 7 weeks of my life, which is a small-ass little chunk, if I have to do nothing but live and eat and breathe bodybuilding to the exclusion of watching television, talking to friends, with the Olympia at stake, I'll do it. I'll do it. If I had ever made it to that level and the Olympia was at stake and I had a shot at making history, I mean, I could be the first guy to ever win the Olympia, the first shot. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. I would lock myself in a room and I wouldn't talk to anyone or do anything other than eat, sleep, train, whatever. That's it. So I agree with that mindset.
The appointed workout time arrives, but instead I get a text from Oscar telling me that they are not ready. I wait a little longer and get another text. Day is turning into night, and I am still waiting. Kai is simply not ready to go. At this point, Oscar is doing everything. The cooking, the cleaning, and the planning. All the while monitoring Kai's health and emotional state.
The circumstances which a man encounters with suffering are the result of his own mental inharmony.
To give Kai a bit more time to recuperate, Oscar and I decide to make a much-needed supermarket run to stock up on supplies for the next few days. At times like these, Oscar becomes the spokesperson for Kai, relieving him of that duty as well.
You know, sometimes he gets up in the morning, you know, just exhausted, drained, fatigued. He'll have some coffee, take his vitamins, we'll come and do cardio. But I know the last thing he wants to do is cardio. He's hungry. He pushes us to the point where there's nothing left. You know, sometimes even after a cardio session is intense, he's laying on the floor. It's just needs about 10 minutes or 15 minutes just to back to normal, and he's breathing back so he can walk, barely walk to the car. And in the car right here, he'll just have his meal and eat it cold. And go home, shower, and go back to the room, shower, and eat another meal before he naps. Without those, you know, little naps during the day, he couldn't survive, you know. I called for 40 pounds of lumber.
Oscar has trained many winning athletes over the years. How does one get to be the guru of champions? At one time, Oscar himself was a competing bodybuilder with several wins under his belt.
Well, I never started this sport of bodybuilding to be a guru, a trainer, or a coach. You know, in fact, you know, don't like it when people, you know, refer to me as that. You know, I had pictures on my wall. My goals and my dreams were similar to Evan's, to Desmond's, to Kai. I didn't say, okay, I want to be, you know, a guru in 10 years. I want to be a coach. I want to train pro. No, man, I wanted to be the one on stage winning. I wanted to be the one doing stuff. But along the way, what happened was, as I began helping individuals, you know, they started to producing great results. I started getting a line of people wanting me to help them, and really that's not what I intended to do, but I was really good at looking at an individual, seeing what they need, make the adjustments, and let's go for it, you know. And they won, you know, women, men, hundreds of athletes that I worked with. Usually it's time that I call my wife and leave her messages. That's the way we communicate sometimes, you know, just, she calls me, she leaves me messages. I call her, leave her messages. Sometimes she calls me, she leaves recordings of my son trying to talk, or my daughter leaves me a message. But it's just temporary. All of us have to pay a price one way or another to create something great in life. Nothing great ever comes without a sacrifice or a payment somehow. If it did, then it wouldn't be great.
It's 10:11 p.m. Nearly 12 hours have passed since our original scheduled meeting time, and Kai is finally ready for a leg workout.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
However, that he won't be squatting tonight. Kai is known for his powerful squats, but the whites of his eyes are still full of blood from the previous squat night, when he pushed himself so hard that the blood vessels ruptured. Despite this setback, the work must go on.
2, 3.
The Olympia draws ever nearer, and time is running out.
8, come on, 2 more. 9, 1 more. Nice.
Bodybuilding is rigorous and repetitive.
1.
Anyone who wants to succeed in this sport discipline of robotic repetition while maintaining a high level of physical intensity.
Take your time, relax. 2, 3, 4.
Yet even the most dedicated bodybuilder eventually comes face to face with the reality of flesh.
19, 20.
Tonight, Kai is crashing into the limitations of the human body. Again and again. At this point, there is no Kai without Oscar. It seems like Kai has given himself over to Oscar completely.
Catch your breath. On my count, begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Let's go. Number 1. 1 more. Up.
Oscar tries to explain what I am seeing in a way that I would understand. But there is nothing in my experience which I can relate to this.
The Arnold, when I trained him for that show, I pushed him to the limit. And I know the Olympia has the quality of competitors coming in here are much higher than the Arnold. So how do we face new competition or achieve a goal that we never achieved before? By doing things that we haven't done before, pushing the body harder than we pushed before.
The responsibility now resting on Oscar's shoulders is as staggering as the weight Kai must continue to push with his rebelling body. Like a father, like a brother. Tonight, this gentle drill sergeant gives Kai what he does not have.
Collect your thoughts, focus everything, your energy into your calves. Focus on the stretch and the contraction, that's all I want. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
How do we go to the point where it doesn't get to him? It's in his mind. So this is where it becomes similar to like a monk in a monastery, because it becomes very spiritual, it becomes very mental. You know, right now it's all in the mind. He could lose it mentally, you know, if I wasn't here or he's not keeping it together, and a lot of guys unfortunately do. But right now, the only way he's going to keep it together is to keep his sanity, to stay focused, and the ability, you know, to be a mental warrior, to be a mental beast, and because he wants to win so bad, he'll go through whatever uncomfortableness in order to succeed.
Eventually, Kai's frustration with himself and his mortal flesh gets the better of him.
Whenever you catch your breath, going down to a plate, I need you to get your hamstring stretched for 15 more.
When any man, or any person, and any individual embarks on a journey, you know, in the path of achieving something that challenges their best, challenges them in a way to bring forth their best, the best connection with their concentration, the most focusedness of their thoughts, you know, you end up having to stop and think, well, why am I doing this? Because at times it can become overwhelming.
None of this is what I expected to see here. Is Vegas Kai's sanctuary or his prison?
There are times when it felt like both. I think the times when it felt more like a prison would be the times when you might have needed to stop and reassess, you know, who you were and why you're doing this. In fact, you're there in a purpose to exact your will on a circumstance, to bring your will into fruition, you know, to create the reality that you want. So I guess in doing that reasoning, you realize that, well, I'm not in a prison at all, you know, and should it start to look like that, you know, it may mean that, hey, I need to refocus my thinking. Maybe I'm from the right thoughts that keep me grounded in the path of increase.
This is a case where even failure is success, for the failure is not in the effort, and every earnest effort adds an increment of power that will eventually accomplish the end aimed at. We can then gain the full and complete power of determining what character, what types of thoughts we entertain.
Oscar decides to let Kai off the hook. Based on what he's seen tonight, Kai can skip the next cardio session. Then, Kai surprises me, and Oscar.
How do you feel with the meal off?
Feel better?
Yeah. I could do cardio.
Well, you can.
Yeah, I could do cardio.
You ready to do cardio now?
In about another half an hour.
Half an hour, okay. You do cardio.
But I believe, you know, when the day does come, all this stuff that he's going through, you know, his character, his personality, and in his life, it will make him stronger. Either this stuff will break you, or it will make you stronger. If I know Kai, it will make him stronger and better, you know, because there's nothing else he can do getting ready for the show. I mean, if there was, we'd be doing it.
At 2:40 in the morning, Kai returns to the gym for an hour of cardio.